back to unphenomenal and disastrous, let's go to Condon here, because Condon had a disastrous interview on 60 Minutes. And when I say disastrous, I mean just, you can see the stark differences in how Trump speaks and how you just saw Barack Obama speak. So let's go ahead and get into this disastrous 60 Minutes interview from Donald Trump. All right, here we go. So this first part, he is going to be talking about the economy, nuclear weapons, Taiwan, and basically how America is playing catch up. And I just want to preface this here. This whole interview, it's virtue signaling. It's this, I don't know, this plastic ego where he needs to protect himself, where he needs to exude this complex of a plastic ego to protect himself. It's very much performative heroism when it comes to Donald Trump. It's this facade that he is building America back up and that America was never great. But the truth is, America was great when it was making progress in regards to civil rights. America was great when it was making progress in regards to health and care services. America was becoming great. And now we are backtracking to where science doesn't matter, where our Human and Health Services Director, Robert F. Kennedy, is out here stating unsubstantiated information about a plethora of different issues. And Trump is co-signing. We're rolling back times in regards to women's health and reproductive rights. We're rolling back times in regards to LGBTQ plus rights. We're rolling back times in regards to voter rights and how easy it is to access voting capabilities. So again, let's go ahead and get into this.
Government jobs are easy. I could immediately do anything I want with government jobs. I just say we're going to add on 1 million government jobs, and you're going to say, oh, what wonderful numbers. They don't mean anything. We are building jobs at a level that nobody's ever seen before. But when all of these plants that are currently under construction and to be under construction when they open, we're going to have an economy like our country has never seen before, the strongest economy in the world. We're doing very well. By the way, the stock market just hit, perfect timing for your show, just hit an all-time high. We're doing really well.
Can I ask you, Mr. President, on that point, though, when the stock market is doing well, that doesn't affect everybody. Not everybody's invested in the stock market. But there have been grocery prices are up.
401ks, people have 401ks. Their 401ks are double what they were a year ago.
He doesn't listen. He doesn't listen to what people are saying to him. Not everyone has 401ks. She is 100% completely right. Like, not everyone is invested in the stock markets. Not everyone has 401ks. Not everyone is affected by how well the stock market is doing, because everyday Americans who afford groceries on a paycheck that is back-to-back weekly, that if they miss a paycheck, they may not be able to afford groceries or rent or an electric bill. The stock market does not affect them personally. The everyday worker out in Wisconsin, no. What happens is that, daily life affects them. So the fact that he continues to dismiss the fact that the stock market isn't really a true reflection of everyday Americans shows that he does not care about Americans. He cares about big business and how big business is doing, not about how Americans are somehow surviving off of the scraps that they are given.
For people that don't have 401ks or are not invested in the stock market, they've seen their grocery prices go up, inflation.
No, you're wrong. They went up under Biden. Right now, they're going down, other than beef, which we're working on, which we can solve very quickly. So the ranchers have really taken a drubbing over.
Another lie. Inflation continues to rise and climb every month in Trump's presidency. So again, another lie.
30-year period. Because of what I've done, the ranchers have done well. But with that, the beef...
And he blames Biden for everything.
It'll be very nice, just like eggs. When I first took over, eggs were double, triple, quadruple what they were. This was because of Biden. All of these problems were caused by Biden, whether it's the people that came into our country through jails. I mean, they were released from jails. They were released from mental institutions into our country. These problems are caused by Biden. We had an open border. Now we have a border that's, as you know, absolutely shut, other than...
I don't get it. Everything is Biden's fault. Why can't you take a little bit of... Well, I know why you can't. He has a fragile ego here. But instead of continuously blaming Biden, because now it's getting to a point where it's just regurgitating the same talking points over and over and over and over again. And it gets a little bit tiring to hear. And it's like, I don't know how these maggots tune into Fox News every day, because it's the same thing over and over and over again. And it's not even like a news cycle. It's just a repetitive repeat of maggot talking points, such as Biden did this, Biden did that, but there's no plan to actually fix what Biden supposedly broke. There's never been a plan. There never will be a plan. It's all performative.
People are allowed to come into a country, but they have to come in legally.
I do want to talk about immigration and some other domestic issues, but just if we could stay on China for just a moment.
And if we want to talk about plans of immigration reform and removing illegal immigrants from the country, I honestly don't think that the plan of having ICE agents, a personal militia going into the streets of America, terrorizing Americans, is a plan. That's just called destruction. That's called feeding fear into the streets of the United States. That's not called being a president. That's called being a tyrannical, insane dictator. That's what that's called. And that's why you have so many courts fighting you on releasing National Guard into our city streets, because it does not protect the American people. Instead, it incites more fear into the American streets of safety concerns.
One potential flashpoint with China, probably the potential flashpoint with China in the coming years, is over the issue of Taiwan. The Chinese military is encroaching on Taiwan's sea lanes, its airspace, its cyberspace. I know you have said that Xi Jinping wouldn't dare move militarily on Taiwan while you're in office. But what if he does? Would you order U.S. forces to defend Taiwan?
You'll find out if it happens, and he understands the answer to that.
Why not say
This
it?
never even came up yesterday as a subject. He never brought it up. People were a little surprised at that. He never brought it up because he understands it, and he understands it very well.
Do you mind if I ask, when you say he understands, why not communicate that publicly to the rest of us? What does he
Because I don't
understand?
want to give away. I can't give away my secrets.
He can't give away his secrets because he doesn't have a plan. There's no plan. Even if there was a plan, he would be able to say, this is what we're doing. This is our end goal, but there's not even an end goal because there's not a plan. He probably is incoherent and has no capability to understand what this woman is asking him in regards to Taiwan. Instead, he says, I'm not going to give away anything, because he doesn't have anything to give away. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
I don't want to be one of these guys that tells you exactly what's going to happen if something happens. The other side knows, but I'm not somebody that tells you everything because you're asking me a question.
So if the other side knows, why can't the American public know? Just a question.
But they understand what's going to happen, and he has openly said, and his people have openly said at meetings, we would never do anything while President Trump is president, because they know the consequences.
Less than an hour before your meeting with President Xi, you posted on social media that you instructed the quote, Department of War to start testing our nuclear weapons
Right.
immediately. What did you mean?
Well, we have more nuclear weapons than any other country. I think we should do something about denuclearization. And I did actually discuss that with both President Putin and President Xi. We have enough nuclear weapons to blow up the world 150 times. Russia has a lot of nuclear weapons, and China will have a lot. They have some. They have quite a bit.
So
but
why
they
do we
don't
need to
have
test
any
our nuclear weapons?
Well, because you have to see how they work. You do have to. And the reason I'm saying testing is because Russia announced that they were going to be doing a test. If you notice, North Korea is testing constantly. Other countries are testing. We're the only country that doesn't test, and I don't want to be the only country that doesn't test.
Are you saying that after more than 30 years, the United States is going to start detonating nuclear weapons?
I'm saying that we're going to test nuclear weapons like other.
And this is my problem. Not with the nuclear weapons, but how he perceives America to be so helpless. And he is somehow the God-sent savior to save America. He continues to spout this idea that America was never great and we're playing catch up. And he's saying it on live TV that we're playing catch up to other nations such as Russia and China with nuclear weapons. America has had the best nuclear weapons and, testing for decades. So I'm confused.
Other countries do, yes.
But the only country that's testing nuclear weapons is North Korea. China
Russia's,
and Russia.
no, Russia's testing
So
nuclear weapons.
my understanding,
And China's testing them too. You just don't know about it.
that would be certainly very newsworthy. My understanding is what Russia did recently was test essentially the delivery systems for nuclear weapons, essentially missiles, which we can do that, but not with nuclear
Russia's
weapons.
testing and China's testing, but they don't talk about it. We're a open society. We're different. We talk about it. We have to talk about it because otherwise you people are going to report. They don't have reporters that are going to be writing about it. We do. No, we're going to test because they test and others test, and certainly North Korea's been testing. Pakistan's been testing.
Not nuclear weapons, is my understanding. North Korea has, but not nuclear
They don't
weapons.
go and tell you about it. And as powerful as they are, this is a big world. You don't necessarily know where they're testing. They test way underground where people don't know exactly what's happening.
See, she's presenting him with facts, and yet he's, again, rebuttaling with unsubstantiated information. And it's something that tends to be a reoccurring theme for this administration, to continue talking about points that have no substantiated facts, information, or evidence to prove that what they're spouting as fact is actual fact and correct. It continues to go on to this point that this administration has no clue what they're doing, a plan in place, or any sort of evidence to prove that what they are saying to the American public is true.
And you know what I call that? Respect for our country. They didn't treat Biden that way. When Biden went there, first of all, he hardly went anywhere. The guy couldn't leave his bedroom. But they didn't treat Biden that way. They had no respect for Biden, falling up the stairs, going to an airplane 3 times. I mean, this is a man who should have never been president. This was a rigged election. And we have to get back, we have to get to the bottom of that also, because we don't want that to ever happen again. You see what's going on? We don't ever want that to happen again. Look what happened to our country by having Biden as the president. Our country went to hell. And if we had another couple of years, if Kamala had won the election, our country right now would be finished. It was a dead country, and now we have the hottest country anywhere in the world.
It was a dead country, and now we have the hottest country in the world. Again, another talking point when it comes to MAGA and Donald Trump and his, ego complex and his savior complex of America. It's untrue. America wasn't a dead country and wouldn't have been a dead country even if Kamala was president of the United States. What is making America a dead country is the tariffs that you're placing on other countries that we are now eating in costs because our grocery prices and our product prices are rising. That's what's creating a dead country for America, while you're outsourcing and lining your own pockets with international coins. You're now putting a detriment to American farmers as well. So don't sit here and say, Obama, Kamala, and Biden would have been the problem when you're creating the problem. Not only that, you have Trump saying that, again, lying about this rigged election. This has been a lie and a Republican talking point for now nearly 6 years. And it's like, when are you going to get over it? What do you mean get to the bottom of it? You're the president right now. If you were able to get to the bottom of it and find some sort of substantiated proof that the election was rigged against you in 2020, then I'm pretty sure you would have found it by now, especially within your first 9 months of being president. Yet, you continue to have misinformation and these talking points that have no evidence to back up this rigged election claim. Like I said, if you are president, you would have found that information within the first month of your presidency. I'm not even giving it to you on day one. I'm giving you 30 days. You would have went in and found that information that backed up that the 2020 election was rigged. It is now 10 months into your second presidency, and you're sitting here still claiming the same facts with no valid or factual evidence. Let's talk about that, because it's untrue. It's untrue. The 2020 election was not rigged. Even the Heritage Foundation came out and said there has been no proof of voter fraud in the 2020 election. And if there was voter fraud, then it was 0.0001%, and it wouldn't have played a role in an effect in regards to Trump losing the presidency in 2020.
We have the strongest stock market. We have everybody wants to come in. A year ago, we were a dead country. Right now, we have the hottest country anywhere in the world. Think of that. And I did that in 9 months. And it's only going to get better.
No, and that's a lie, because tourism is down for the United States because immigrants and people who are coming into the country as tourists are afraid that they're going to be picked up by ICE, detained, deported back to a country that's not even their home country. Tourism is down in the United States. Our economy is slowly dwindling as well. So again, he's stating all these talking points with no factual information when the antithesis is actually happening in our American soil. Like, it's crazy.
Let's talk about Israel. You got the remaining Israeli hostages out of Gaza. You arranged a ceasefire, however fragile that may be. Those are
It's
major.
not fragile. It's a very solid, you hear about Hamas, but Hamas could be taken out immediately if they don't behave. They know that. If they don't behave, they're going to be taken out immediately.
How do you get Hamas to disarm?
If I want them to disarm, I'll get them to disarm very quickly. They'll be eliminated. They know that. Don't forget, you said I got the remaining hostages. I got all the hostages out. But I always said the last 10 or 20 are going to be tough. But we were tough also.
I got all the hostages out. but the last remaining 20 were going to be tough. What? What are you? He doesn't think. Listen to the sentence. I got all the hostages out, but the last remaining 10 or 20 are going to be difficult. I can't do it. This man is a fucking lunatic. It's a lunatic. No coherence.
Let's vote. And you can open, the economy could open up during our interview.
Is there something you can
Maybe
do,
it
though?
did.
Is there something you
All
can
I can
do to
do
bring
is
this
give
to
the
an end?
facts. Here's what I can't do. I can't give them every year for 22 years, and you were the only president that let us do our job. I said, let me ask you, is this a job you wanted to do? Yes, sir, because it was the right thing. These are really brave people. These are really amazing people and talented people. When you can hit at midnight with no moon, with no vision, every single air shaft, where that bomb went deep into that mountain and exploded and beat the hell out of it, I'll tell you what, they deserve to come to the White House. I gave them all a medal. They deserve to come to the White House, and it was a pleasure to meet them. These are great people. We have great people in this country.
Mr. President, we talked about foreign policy. Now let's focus on issues here at home,
Okay,
some of that
sure.
you have already mentioned. We are now approaching the longest shutdown in American history.
Democrats' fault.
Under your...
You can't make this up. You can't. It's just like a automatic talking point. He's being presented with the conversation of the shutdown. Interviewer doesn't even mention Democrats or Republicans, nothing. Just Democrat shutdown. Democrats' fault. Like, what? Let's just rewatch this real quick. This is crazy.
Great people in this country.
Mr. President, we talked about foreign policy. Now let's focus on issues here at home,
Okay,
some of that
sure.
you have already mentioned. We are now approaching the longest shutdown in American history.
Democrats' fault.
Under your presidency, we're talking about more than 1 million federal workers who
Crazy.
are not getting a paycheck, including our air traffic controllers. You see there's traffic snarls out at the airports now. This weekend, food aid for more than 42 million Americans is set to expire. What are you doing as president to end the shutdown?
All we're doing is we keep voting. I mean, the Republicans are voting almost unanimously to end it, and the Democrats keep voting against ending it. You know, they've never had this. This has happened like 18 times before. The Democrats always voted for an extension, always saying, give us an extension, we'll work it out. They've lost their way. They become crazed lunatics. And all they have to do, Nora, is say, let's vote. And you can open, the economy could open up during our interview.
Is there something you
Maybe
can do,
it
though?
did.
Is there something you
All I
can do to bring
is
this to
give
an
the
end?
facts. Here's what I can't do. I can't give them $1.5 trillion so that they can give welfare to people that came into our country illegally, so that prisoners and that people from mental institutions and people that are drug dealers get vast amounts of money for health care. That I can't do.
So my
What I can do is I can continue to run a great country. We have the best economy we've ever had. I can continue to do that. What they should do,
More
look,
talking
this started a long time
points.
ago. I always said, and you know I've been very consistent, Obamacare is terrible. It's bad health care at far too high a price. We should fix that. We should fix it. And we can fix it with the Democrats. All they have to do is let the country open and we'll fix it. They
Okay, but what's your plan? If you're saying Obamacare is so horrible, so high in cost that it's destroying American families, then what's your plan to fix it? He's been saying it since 2015 that he needs to reform healthcare, yet he has still yet to present a plan to reform Obamacare to make it affordable for American citizens. 2015, it's been 10 years now that he has been touting on this mountaintop of I'm going to reform healthcare to make it cheaper for American citizens. And 10 years later, he's sitting in the president's seat with still not yet even a first sentence to reform healthcare for a plan. So again, I'm sitting here telling you guys again that it's continuous talking points for the Republican Party. There's no real action behind the facade of their words.
have
But
to
ending
let
the
the
government
country
shutdown-
open, and I'll sit down with the Democrats, and we'll fix it. But they have to let the country. And
So
you know what
your
they have to
plan-
do? All they have to do is raise 5 hands. We don't need all of them.
But so you're saying your plan is to tell the Democrats to vote to end the shutdown?
Correct, very simple.
And that you will put forward a health care plan?
No, we will work on fixing the bad health care that we have right now. We have terrible health care at too expensive for the people, not for the government, for the people.
So here's my thing, and you heard him say it. 5 hands. All we need is 5 hands. And to me, that isn't reaching for a solution to the problem. That's reaching for hands to just adjust the problem and put it on a back burner. And I think the Democrats are very smart here, saying we're not going to back down. We're not going to give you 5 hands that you need. No, we want you to provide us with some sort of detailed plan to how you're going to help Americans. And if you're not going to do that, because you've been saying for the past 10 years that you will, if you're not going to do that, then why are we going to trust you if we reopen the government that you will actually abide by your word when you have continuously showed that your word means absolutely nothing? Especially over the 10 years that you have touted on this motive to reform healthcare and Obamacare to make it cheaper for Americans, but yet you have not provided one sentence of a manuscript on how to make a plan for this. Because there is no plan. They just want to, they want this shutdown. The Republicans want to continue this Democrat shutdown because they know that if they extend it, they would be able to continue blaming the Democrats. And when in reality, America is waking up and realizing that it's not a Democrat shutdown, it's a protection of elites shutdown. That's what this shutdown is. It's not about Democrats. It's not about technically Republicans. It's about protecting the elites and that those Epstein files. And unfortunately, the contingency that's being put on the American people is feeding American families with SNAP benefits and WIC. Yet, Donald Trump, the president of the United States, is going to allow American families to go hungry in protection of providing protection to those Epstein files. That's who's sitting in presidency. That's who maggots voted in. Okay? Let's make that very clear. Protecting billionaire pedophiles over feeding American families, women, and children. That is what Donald Trump's main goal is. Not America. Protecting pedophiles.
Mr. President, with
people
all due
are
respect,
paying-
you've been talking about fixing the healthcare
Sure,
insurance
and you
since
can't do it because of the
2015.
Democrats.
But
That's
since
right.
2015, you've said you'd
I've been
fix it.
talking about it for a long time. We almost did it. We were one vote short. We would have had great health care. We were one vote short, and a couple of senators that we currently have made the mistake, and they made a big mistake. John McCain made a mistake, frankly. We were one vote short. We would have had great health care. And I've been saying ever since, we can fix it. It's too expensive. It's got two things. It's too expensive, and it's lousy health care. It's too expensive for the people. They're going to get a very big increase this year.
Well, they're going to get
and
an
it's
increase
because-
if you don't extend the subsidies.
No, but the subsidies is part of it. We're supposed to spend trillions of dollars to take care of something that is defective. What I'm saying is we can make it much less expensive for people and give them much better health care.
But where's
And
that
I'd be
plan?
willing to
But
work
where's
with the
that plan?
Democrats on it. The problem is they want to give money to prisoners, to drug dealers, to...
Honestly, if I was this interviewer, I would have got up, walked out, and said, I am not going to give a platform, even if it's the president of the United States, to sit here, lie continuously, and not give specific answers to a plan that he said he has had for 10 years. If you've had a plan for 10 years to reform healthcare, where is the plan? Why hasn't it been brought out into a vote? Why hasn't even a word of that plan been uttered for the American people for cheaper healthcare options? Because this man, this scum, does not care about American people. Don't fall for these talking points, because if you actually look into the issues he's discussing, such as transgenders for everyone, which isn't even proper English, like, it's insanity. It's complete insanity that this administration continues to attack transgender people who are 1% of the population versus actually addressing issues in America that Americans truly care about, such as the economy, such as grocery prices, such as housing costs. He said on day one he is going to address those issues, and yet he has still yet to address those issues with any plan in place to fix those issues. You were bamboozled in regards to getting him into presidency.